Hi everybody, welcome to this episode of Enlightenment Today. I'm Jason. In this episode I'm going to speak about the role of a guru, a spiritual teacher. I'm going to speak about who a guru is, why they are important, and also why in the modern world we have a nervous reaction when we hear the word. What is the etymology of the word guru? In the ancient Sanskrit text, the Advaita Upanishad, it states, the syllable gu signifies darkness. The syllable ru signifies the destroyer of that darkness. By reason of ability to destroy darkness, he is called guru. The word guru is the combination of two Sanskrit words. Guru then is more accurately the dispeller of darkness. But darkness in this context means ignorance. But what dark ignorance do they dispel? The specific role of guru is to dispel the illusion that we are the contents of our mind which make up this temporary identity. They are supposed to remove this identity and bring you back in resonance with present awareness beyond the mind. In the Hindu philosophy of Vedanta, this means the dissolution of jiva, the personal mind, which brings you back in harmony with the divine ground of being, Atman in Sanskrit, meaning the self with a capital S, which is the undifferentiated consciousness within us, which is the essence of the ultimate reality, Brahman. The guru essentially gets you out of your own way. In the Hindu tradition, you should spend a long time with the guru for any of this to happen. In some extreme cases, it was recommended that you spend at least 12 years with the guru, attending daily satsangs, which means spiritual discourse, and also receiving darshan, which is a Sanskrit word describing the practice of receiving blessings from the guru. There are still some of these traditions around today, but not as many anymore due to the complexity of the world. The reason it was recommended that you be in the presence of a guru is because being in constant contact with a living guru removes ignorance and allows the eternal self to be revealed. In India, this is recognized as the divine power of the guru. Actually, in India, God, guru, and self are identical. The Shvetashvatara Upanishad introduces this idea of love for God and guru as equal because the guru is thought to be the embodiment of the divine. The guru is God in the human form. The Sanskrit word Bhagavan means God in the form of guru. And because of this, a guru is viewed as the supreme authority. David Godman, who has written on the life of many gurus such as Ramana Maharishi, explains this God as guru view. God and guru are in truth not different, just as the prey that has fallen into the jaws of a tiger cannot escape. So those who have come under the glance of the guru's grace will surely be saved and will never be forsaken, yet one should follow without fail the path shown by the guru. Following the path of the guru and their teachings is very common in Eastern thought. As a result, the common people either gravitate towards pure devotion, bhakti in Sanskrit, or there are those people who have a burning fire inside them to know more about the nature of themselves and the universe. These people become disciples and follow the path of initiation laid out by the guru. But for someone to become a disciple or even a devotee, one must be completely humble and innocent in their heart. One must be able to prostrate in front of the guru, touching their feet as if it is the feet of the divine. The feet are traditionally considered a terminal of spiritual power, Shakti in Sanskrit, and also grace. Prostrating at God and Guru's feet is understood metaphorically as one's inner embrace of the divine in all aspects of life. To lower your ego and prostrate before a guru is one of the greatest acts of humility and self-surrender one could do. Only then can an aspiring disciple hear the words from an ancient text like the Advaita Upanishad and take them on as the supreme authority. It states, the teacher alone is the supreme absolute. The teacher alone is the supreme way. The teacher alone is supreme knowledge. The teacher alone is the supreme resort. The teacher alone is the supreme limit. The teacher alone is supreme wealth. Because he is the teacher of that non-dual reality, he is the teacher greater than any other teacher. Once a disciple can take on these words as the supreme authority, they are ready for the close proximity with the Guru. And if one can remain humble and diligently surrender to the guidance of the Guru, then they will be initiated into the supreme knowledge of the Absolute, Brahma Vidya. Though this initiation will come at a time when the Guru believes the disciple is ready, and who knows, maybe it will be 12 years for those of us with a heart and ego. The Guru constantly monitors the disciple's progress. They are waiting for the moment that the disciple is ready for initiation, Diksha in Sanskrit. Only then will the Guru impart to him or her the secrets of the esoteric lineage. As a result, the initiation empowers the disciple's life towards a lifelong commitment to God realization, the understanding that the deep down essence of you is one with the source of the universe. When the Guru is accepted as the supreme authority, only then is this spiritual transmission possible. But a problem in our world today is we don't want to take on anything as an authority because that implies we aren't in control of our lives and don't really know who we are, nor what our potential is. Because the Western world is built on individual self-interest, we have such a strong sense of pride that it's hard for people to be truly humble. And yet, the irony is that many people who become successful in the social world, like an entrepreneur, went through an apprenticeship under a mentor who instilled values in them such as humility. When an individual has a mentor, they begin a teacher and student relationship that can be either positive or negative. It is negative when one cannot let go of their sense of pride and humble oneself to the authority of the mentor. On the flip side, the relationship can be positive if one is courageous enough to surrender their ego to the mentor, which teaches us how to be truly humble. And in case you are wondering, it is mainly those who follow the latter positive side that go on to succeed in social life. This relationship is similar to the Guru and disciple relationship, but they are definitely different in magnitude and significance. The former is about social success, and the latter is about spiritual liberation. The latter is about knowing who you truly are. The sad thing is, in our materialist culture, knowing who we truly are is frightening. As a result, gurus are shown contempt and not considered an authority. Even a successful entrepreneur will be cynical towards a guru, even though they went through a process to make them superficially humble. But something within them is still holding on to that pride, that strong sense of an isolated ego. As a result, cynicism is the usual attitude shown towards a guru. This cynical attitude comes from a rational world focused only on the physical world. We all know the cynical atheist, especially when it comes to discussing religion. But then we know that almost all people are cynical when it comes to things they have no understanding in. Even in India, this materialist cynicism has crept into the culture since the British invaded, bringing with them Western cynicism. In general, the Hindu people are very innocent and humble, but when you go to Mumbai and Delhi, you feel this materialist cynicism, especially among the affluent. They have lost touch with their own culture and taken on a very dull Western culture, if we can call it a culture. A cynical world will take on any authority that is advantageous to their social status and bank account, but when it comes to what truly matters, we show frightened contempt, which implies the ego is still very strong in most people. The majority of people in the world suffer as a result. We suffer from existential angst because, from our ignorant point of view, only social success matters. The world I can see is all that is important. As for consciousness, it is not even considered. Well, for those of you who believe this physical world is all there is, you need to wake up that you're going to be dead for a long time. So maybe it's time to contemplate that fact. A big reason for Western cynicism towards a guru is because a guru is such an entrenched aspect of Indian culture that it is uniquely part of the Indian archetype. The role of a guru is shown contempt in the West, in part because it is not part of the Western archetype. The Western archetypal framework is oriented towards individualism and exclusivity, while the Indian and Eastern archetypal framework is oriented towards holism and inclusiveness. This might be why the Western guru phenomenon doesn't feel right. But there are some notable exceptions, of course, though in general, when people see a Westerner pretending to be a guru, we don't feel it is genuine if it is just superficial and not a way of life. The easiest way to recognize this is when they haven't taken on the complete ethos of the teachings, which includes culture. As a result, some just superficially take on the Indian dress sense and don't truly take on the cognitive style of the East, which is what matters in the end. The spirituality of the East, which most people follow through New Age lenses, can only be truly understood and followed authentically if our cognitive style has become more holistic rather than the Western cognitive style for analytical thinking. The philosophies of the East come from a holistic mind, and a guru also comes from that cognitive style. We need to remember Hinduism is a culture, not a religion per se. As a result, the Western version of guru can be extremely dull without the color, joy, and vibrancy of the Indian ethos. Sometimes going to see a Western guru can feel so stale of an environment that it feels like going to a doctor's clinic. I know I criticized the superficial dress sense some Western gurus take on, but it is only superficial if they are only dressing up to look the part. Such Western gurus are not sincere about taking on the tradition wholeheartedly, which means going all the way in terms of the cultural framework that has made that tradition significant for thousands of years. In this sense, the Indian culture that is defined by the Hindu, Buddhist, and Jainist view of life. So we all know the superficial Western gurus who would just sit there and stare for ages, as if trying to prove they are in non-dual awareness. This is just posturing. Essentially, if you have to prove you're a guru by posturing like this, then you are still influenced by materialism. You depend on what people think of you. Hence, you're not truly free. A true guru doesn't care what people think of them because the idea of materialism has slipped away for them, leaving a vessel for God to speak through for the benefit of humanity. Their authority is in that and not who they are as a person. As a person, we all have our own idiosyncrasies. But what makes a guru different is they've done the spiritual work to get beneath their persona to experience the nature of the universe which resides in all of us. And yet, the great cosmic joke is that the only way to experience your true nature is you, as the ego, must completely disappear. For this to happen, our ego has to do what it never wants to do: examine its temporality and illusory nature. And a trusted path for this for thousands of years has been to surrender to the divine authority of a guru. And when we look outside in the world today, it is probably now more than ever that the role of guru is important. The question for all of us is, are we humble enough to accept that we don't truly know who we are and what the nature of reality is? If we don't, then finding an authentic guru might be a good start.